Arsenal are desperately looking for a striker. They have been linked with a number of top strikers. Alexander Isak was too expensive. Matheus Cunha was overvalued for what he brings, while Dusan Vlahovic wasn't exactly the man Arsenal were looking for. And then a young 21-year-old beast of a striker appeared on the horizon, Benjamin Sesko, and we explore why he's the perfect choice for this Arsenal side. First and foremost, Arsenal under Mikel Arteta have always been a team that focuses on developing or buying young talent. And there are plenty of examples of this. It is in Arteta's blood to develop this squad with young players who will form the backbone of the Gunners for years to come. Take Bukayo Saka for example. He made his debut in the 2018-19 season and went on to make 4 first-team appearances, aged just 17 at the time. But it was Arteta who took his game to the next level. Following the Spaniards' arrival in December 2019, Saka became an integral part of the Arsenal side, making at least 40 appearances in all of the seasons to date. Aside from him, we can also take a few examples of signings. Saliba arrived as a 21-year-old and is now one of the top 5 centre-backs in the world. The same could be said of Gabriel Magalhaes. He arrived in the first summer after Arteta's arrival and is also one of the best in the world. Martinelli, Odegaard, Ben White and the 2 young starlets, Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skellar, all arrived at the Emirates or started their senior careers at the age of 24 or under. Well, Benjamin Sesko ticks all the boxes in that respect. He's 21, which means he's a perfect fit for the club and their current philosophy. And before we go into our analysis of what and how exactly Sesko will change this Arsenal side, let's take a look at the state of their current forwards. Starting with Saka. He is injured until March, which means Arsenal will be without their biggest creator, scorer and provider for at least a month from now. Jesus is also injured, but for a much longer period. He has suffered a partially torn ACL and will be out until at least the start of Arsenal's pre-season tour in the summer. Then you have Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz and Raheem Sterling, and unfortunately none of them are strikers. It just looks diabolical that Arsenal have still not signed anyone this winter, especially after the news of Jesus and Saka's serious injuries. So what would Benjamin Sesko bring to Arsenal? Well, arguably the most striking thing about him as a player is that he stands at 6 foot 4 inches tall, but he's not the poacher type of striker. Yet when we talk about a forward of that height, we usually think of a poacher who is most comfortable in the box. Well, in this case, Sesko can play both as a creative and combinative striker who is excellent with his back to goal, and also as a target man who can score goals in the penalty area and the 6-yard box. Let's take a closer look at some of his best attributes one by one. Firstly, aerial ability. Sesko is in the top 18 percentile of all Bundesliga players in terms of aerial duels won this season, which is impressive when you consider that German centre-backs are some of the most physically imposing in Europe. He has also won 52% of his aerial duels, which is most remarkable because not only does he win his duels, but he also gets the ball perfectly in the right direction for a teammate to start the attack. Yeah, this may not be particularly surprising for a 6 foot 4 inch striker, but still, even some of the best forwards fall short of him in this respect. For comparison, Erling Haaland is not even in the Premier League's top 20% for tackles won. Another beast in the air, Robert Lewandowski, although smaller than the other two, is even lower, failing to break the top 45th percentile in La Liga. Another incredible surprising thing about Sesko, given his respectful physique, is that he is very dangerous in 1v1 situations with a defender. Yes, defenders have a chance to challenge him in the air, but when the ball is on the ground, this is where Sesko really thrives. He can burst past defenders with pace, he can send them the wrong way with a body feint, he can nutmeg them. To put it simply, even though he's very tall, he moves with the speed and skill of a winger on certain occasions. And that valuable quality makes him effective not only on the wing, but also in the central areas of the pitch. And by the way, one of the best goals of his career to date was scored just like that for his national team, Slovenia. He received the ball about 30 yards from goal, got past one man, got into the box, got past 2 more in a tight space, and chipped the ball perfectly into the far corner. Yes, this is what Arsenal fans can expect from him if they manage to land him. Another thing, he is quite an unconventional goalscorer. He tends to score goals from situations in which other strikers will choose the boring and robotic approach and will fail. And as you know, this quality is extremely valuable in the Premier League. Yeah, that was seen in the example for Slovenia, in which he chose to play all by himself and succeeded brilliantly. But now let's take a look at this goal against Borussia Dortmund earlier this season. He received a back heel from Lois Openda and unleashed an unstoppable shot into the top corner, leaving defender Schlotterbeck and goalkeeper Meyer no chance. Last but not least, when it comes to his qualities as a striker, it is his intelligence and his ability to link up with his teammates. He uses both to perfection, being able to decide in a split second whether he needs the support of a teammate or whether he prefers to go for it alone and do all the work. Here's an example from his time at Red Bull Salzburg in Austria. He plays with a teammate around the halfway line of the pitch and starts his run towards the opposition goal. In the middle of his run, however, he decides to pass the ball back to his teammate, who plays a 1-2 with him, and Sesko now receives the ball in the penalty area, where he can easily beat the goalkeeper with his deadly shot. Most strikers in this situation would try to play on their own, running with the ball at their feet, which is the wrong choice here, because the defender will be alert the whole time and will know the next move. Now, let's talk about his stats. Benjamin Sesko is 21 years old and has been playing for RB Leipzig since the summer of 2023. In those 1.5 seasons at the Red Bull Arena, Sesko has scored 32 goals in 69 appearances, which equates to around a goal every 2 games. By way of comparison, the man currently occupying that role at Arsenal, Kai Havertz, has scored 28 goals in the same period, but in far more games, 82. The difference is that Sesko scores far more often, is definitely more comfortable in the number 9 position, and is simply much more reliable than Havertz in front of goal. Yes, when you look at Havertz's numbers, they look pretty good. The German hasn't been this efficient since his days at Bayer Leverkusen, but the thing is, he's just not good enough as a number 9. He can create a lot of chances, he can score relatively often and look good in the eyes of those who only look at the numbers. But realistically, Havertz just doesn't belong in that deep position. Instead, they need someone like Sesko, who can thrive under the guidance of a brilliant coach like Mikel Arteta, who has a star potential, and who can form a fantastic partnership with Bukayo Saka. Yeah, just imagine those inch-perfect crosses from the right side, coming from Saka, right onto Sesko's head. You can have your Van Dijks, or Joško Gvardiols, but Arsenal will indeed become one of the most dangerous attacking teams in the world if they do sign the Slovenian wonderkid. Now, before you click onto our next video, I've got 2 questions for you. Firstly, how much would you spend on Sesko? And secondly, do you think he deserves the chance? Or would you rather take the even more premium option, breaking the bank for Alexander Isak? Share with us below. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Ball Deep for more similar content, or check out our video on Trent Alexander-Arnold and all the reasons why he doesn't want to renew with Liverpool. See you there.